I got kicked out of my brother's wedding party. I, female 30, got engaged in 2023. I'm the middle child with two brothers on either side, 28 and 33. A few months after getting engaged, I asked all the people I wanted to be in my bridal party. It was all family because family is extremely important to me. Sister-in-law on fiance's side, both of my brothers as co-men of honor, and both of my brother's girlfriends. I'm very close with all of them and spent a lot of time with all of them. Fast forward to about a year later, May 2024, and my brother proposed to his girlfriend. I was very happy for them, and I was asked to be a bridesmaid in my sister-in-law's party a few months later. Shortly after their engagement, it started to hit the fan. My brother started talking about getting married the same month as myself and my fiance, October 2025. Okay. Literally 2 weeks after or 2 weeks before. Immediately, my mom said that would be unfair and a lot on the family. They ended up deciding to get married in August 2026 instead. Like, is it that deep? Sometimes it's that deep, honestly. Truthfully, it is kind of hard to pick sometimes to have like a choice. Like, you can have hope to pick the wedding date that you want, but it's kind of dependent on like venues and whether the venue has space. My family and I have also been discussing starting a family the year after we get married. We're older and our lives have been on hold for about 2.5 years as I've been finishing my master's. I graduate August 2025 and I'm currently on a work placement that's unpaid since January 2025. I had to cut back on work hours and my fiance's been picking up the slack with our bills as we struggled to scrape together money to finish paying off our wedding. While discussing our plans around starting a family, my sister-in-law got very upset, stating I could not be pregnant at her wedding. My brother swooped in and started cracking jokes to try and diffuse her anger, which worked, but you could still tell she was upset. I've been telling my family for about a year now that the summer of 2025 would be a really busy time for me and financially a struggle, so not to expect much from me. We scheduled my bachelorette party for September 2025 to ensure I was done school and had more free time. Well, my sister-in-law decided she wanted to do her bachelorette party in August 2025, a year in advance. Okay, see, remember what I said about it being deep? It is that deep. I had to tell her I wouldn't be able to make the whole thing because I have to be at practicum on the weekends and I can't book it off. If I don't get all of my hours in time, I have to extend my placement and I really don't want to do that. As far as I was aware, she was understanding and assured me I could come the Friday and she'd be happy with that. The group chat with the bridesmaids start. Love a little group chat. I don't, but like, you know, for the most part, I like it, but that's kind of where the drama is, so. As long as I'm not involved in it, I like it. I first tell the maid of honor I can't make the whole weekend and I got a lot of pushback. Things like, can't you just book it off? Why can't you stay the night Friday and drive back early Saturday morning? Keep in mind, it's a 2-hour drive and I have to be there for 8:30 a.m. My practicum is as a therapist, so I have to be able to present with my clients and support them emotionally. Something that's hard to do when you're tired or hungover. I politely explained why I couldn't do these things, and I had already spoken to the bride about this. The maid of honor continued to push back, and I called my brother, who immediately launched to solve the problem. The maid of honor finally laid off. A few weeks later, we start discussing budget for the bachelorette, and I explained I couldn't afford to help pay for the whole weekend, which my brother and sister-in-law were aware of. I offered to pay for sister-in-law's drinks and food on the Friday while I was there. That's what credit cards are for. The bridesmaids got upset, and comments were made like, if you really loved her, you'd pay the money. They were all very rude until one of the bridesmaids, who happens to be the sister of the bride, commented she spoke to their mom, who offered to cover all the bride's costs, so it didn't stress anyone out. All of a sudden, all the bridesmaids were fine to pay for everything. I spoke privately to the maid of honor, explaining I didn't appreciate her constantly pushing back at my boundaries. The maid of honor blew up and started sending me screenshots of our conversation, demanding to know at one point she didn't respect my boundaries, and all of her comments were in regards to ensuring I was having a good time. I don't really think it's possible to have a good time if you're really worried about money. Like, I think you've made it perfectly clear that you're like, listen, I can't show up fully. If you need me to show up fully for this with regards to like money, like I can't do that. Money doesn't just magically appear. And like, quite frankly, I think this, you know, like it's customary to pay for the bride and stuff, but like, I also think that like not everybody can afford that. And we have to be understanding of that. And like, furthermore, if we really want people to be at our bachelorettes, we have to be willing to kind of like pick up the slack. We either have to be fine with people not being involved or being able to pay for all of it, or we have to be willing to like pick up the slack in a monetary sense. If you really care about people being at these events, I think that you need to make it as easy for them as possible. Otherwise, be fine with them not coming. A few months later, I had a bridesmaid dress picked out but not purchased yet because I couldn't afford it until after my own wedding. I had to explain this several times to my sister-in-law, who kept asking me about it. She also approved the dress. Shortly after this, the bride stated she didn't like the dress I picked out and wanted me to wear spaghetti straps like the other brides. I have a very large chest and can't wear things with tiny straps because I need more support. The other bridesmaids are all tiny with small chests. I tried to express my concerns and the bride thought I was arguing the color of the dress, which I was not. I started sending other dress options, all of which she turned down. She started sending me dresses with very small, skinny straps and deep neckline cuts. I got frustrated and just said fine to the last dress she sent. After this, I met with my brother and we all talked it over. I was able to communicate my frustrations and struggles over how everything was playing out. I left that conversation feeling really good. A few days later, sister-in-law sent me a letter indicating she wanted me to step down because I couldn't offer them my undivided time and attention that they needed right now.